Aloha, it's Kiana, and here are today's top Hawaii headlines from the editors at the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Also, huge mahalo to Longs Drugs Hawaii for sponsoring the show. Head on over to your neighborhood Longs Drugs for all your shopping needs. A Big Island tour helicopter carrying 6 people experienced a violent upset before it crashed into a lava field earlier this month. That's according to a preliminary report released by the National Transportation Safety Board. The agency is investigating the June 8th crash of a Bell 407 helicopter operated by K&S Helicopters. According to the report, the flight departed Ellison Onizuka International Airport shortly after 5 in the afternoon for a sightseeing tour around the island. About 30 minutes later, the helicopter experienced a violent upset, followed by an uncontrolled spin to the right. It crashed in a remote lava field between the Rancho Subdivision and South Point Road at about 5:25. The pilot and 2 passengers were seriously injured in the crash, and 3 passengers suffered minor injuries. A final report on the probable cause of the crash is expected in about 12 months. Hawaii's COVID-19 numbers continue to fall this week. The Hawaii Department of Health today reported 15 new coronavirus-related deaths and 5,482 new COVID-19 infections over the previous week. Hawaii's COVID-19 death toll stands at 1,489, while health officials have recorded 303,333 cases since the start of the pandemic. The 7-day average of new cases decreased for the 3rd week in a row with a reported 832 cases today, down from 976 cases on June 15th. The state's average positivity rate decreased for the 2nd week in a row, declining from 18.9% last week to 17.1% on June 20th. By island, there were 3,785 new infections reported on Oahu, 579 on Hawaii Island, 635 on Maui, 326 on Kauai, 21 on Molokai, and 9 on Lanai. Another 127 infections were reported outside the state. There were 196 patients with COVID-19 in Hawaii's hospitals today, down from 218 reported last Wednesday. President Joe Biden is calling for a 3-month gasoline and diesel tax holiday as the country grapples with skyrocketing fuel prices. In a speech today, Biden tied high energy prices to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, noting lawmakers back sanctions and aid despite the risks of inflation. He called on Congress to suspend an 18.4 cents a gallon federal tax on gas and a 24.4 cents a gallon tax on diesel fuel. If the savings are passed along to consumers, people would save about 3.6% at the pump. Biden also called on states to suspend their own gas taxes and criticized the energy industry for prioritizing profits over production. The White House estimates a combination of gas tax suspensions and cooperation from energy companies could cut gas prices by $1 a gallon. Congress and state legislatures must act in order to suspend the tax, and many lawmakers have expressed reservations about a gas tax holiday. High gas prices pose a threat to Biden's electoral and policy ambitions in an important election year. Confidence in the economy has slumped, and the president can do little to fix prices that are set by global markets, companies, and consumer demand. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol is pausing public hearings to consider new evidence. The panel will put a hold on proceedings after Thursday's meeting as it sorts through documentary footage and other evidence that has surfaced. British documentary filmmaker Alex Holder tweeted on Tuesday that he received a subpoena to turn over footage of former President Donald Trump leading up to the Capitol assault. He said he will be questioned by the committee behind closed doors on Thursday. Committee Chairman Benny Thompson said other evidence includes information received on the committee's tip line and produced by the National Archives. The hearings were initially expected to wrap up as soon as next week, but they will now extend into July before a final report is released. The Hawaii Visitors and Convention Bureau has filed a protest alleging that the Hawaii Tourism Authority violated state procurement when awarding its U.S. Brand Management and Global Support Services contract to the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement. The Bureau has always had the U.S. job and holds the current contract. It was originally chosen by HTA to keep those duties in December in what was expected to be a multi-year, $100 million deal. That contract was rescinded after the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement protested the decision. The council won a second solicitation by a wide margin. The nature of the protest has not been made public, but sources say the Bureau is likely questioning changes that HTA made during the second contract solicitation. The continued uncertainty is a cause for concern for Hawaii's visitor industry, which relies on the top U.S. market to supply the majority of island tourists. The U.S. has always been the state's top source of arrivals, and the tourism industry is leaning more heavily on domestic visitors as it recovers from the pandemic. For more on these stories and all the latest headlines, subscribe to the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Visit Hawaii's top source for breaking news online at staradvertiser.com and download the Star-Advertiser mobile app. Mahalo, have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.